Hey guys, in this video we've got RC Radios 101 and this installment is on dual rates. So we're going to go over all these things in the radios over time here as we do each individual installment. The idea is to take each moment and give it the attention it deserves. In this one we're going to start right off with dual rates, and we're going to show you how that affects the setup of the car and what it actually does within the car itself when you start playing with these adjustments. This should be pretty cool. We'll give you some really good examples of what it is. So when we're done with this video, if you're new to the hobby, this will help you understand what it's all about. Check this out. Alright, so first off, there are many different types of radios, from RTR to the higher end ones. You can spend a lot or you can spend a little. The thing is, there are some things that matter between the radios, and what it comes down to is, here is one of the earlier radios from Spectrum, as far as like the version 4 Creighton came with these, and all of them from that era came with this radio, and this is the STX2. Not a good radio. It's not that the options are bad, it's the latency between this and the car, which means when you give it input, there's a delay before it gets to the car. Now, if you've never driven a high-end radio, you probably wouldn't notice the difference. But if you've had anything with a low latency to it, you'll notice that this is giving you a bit of a disconnect between yourself and the car, and it makes it harder to hit certain targets when you're trying to aim for them. The ramp is a great example. You need to get your car online and get some speed up and control it till you get to that ramp to hit it square to get things to go the way you want them to. It's really difficult with these. It can be done, guys, and if this is the only radio you've ever had, you've probably learned to think ahead of the car a little bit to get it where you want it to be. This is just one of the RTR radios. The reason we're choosing this one is it has the dual rates, and that's these two right at the bottom here. Dual rate is necessary to set up. It's just about as necessary as the one above it, and that is the trim controls, and we'll get into that in a different video. The trim controls are one item, and that's how you make your car go straight and sit still and all that stuff. But the dual rates are how you set your car up so that it functions the way it's designed and isn't hard on the components. So let's get on the bench and we'll make a quick run of this and show you what the dual rates actually do. Okay, so we're going to stay with the STX2 here, and if you look on the right side, that is the steering dual rate. All the way to the left is down, all the way to the right is full. So what we want to do here is we're going to turn the wheels with it all the way up. Notice how far the tires move when you turn the wheel. Okay, now as we bring this down, notice how much less the tires move. So it narrows down your ability to turn. Now that can be useful in certain situations. So it does it evenly. So with it all the way up, let's do a little test here. With it all the way up, we want to turn the wheel to the right and lock it. So see, I'm holding it. Now we'll turn the dual rate down and you'll see it move. It doesn't look like much until you turn the wheels, and then see how much less it turns. Just like that, turn it back up, and you can see what the dual rate does. It allows you to tune your steering for the amount of steering you need for the application. Okay, so that being said, dual rates are pretty simple when you look at it, and as far as the steering goes, that's a beautiful thing, because what it is, this is 5th scale. It's a big servo, but that's so you can see what I'm talking about here. So with the servo, a lot of these have plastic gears in them. A lot of them have metal gears, but at the same time, these may have a lot of throw, which means it may turn a long ways when this turns. Now the thing is, if this turns farther than the car is capable of, in other words, if you turn the wheel all the way to the right and you hear the servo and they're going, that's a very bad thing, because in here is a motor and a gear set. There's also a sensor set in there that tells it where it's at. Now, this will push hard against a stop, and it'll overheat that motor because it'll continually try and pull up against that stop, and it'll overheat and burn this out. The dual rate system, the way it's designed is you can dial it back so it won't push against that stop so hard. So what it is you can get full steering, back your dual rate off so you still get full steering, but it doesn't bind it. That's the important part. If you hear it grunting when you're at full turn, your servo is trying to throw it farther than the car is capable of, and that can cause pretty big problems down the road. But hey guys, that's not everything. Dual rates have two sides, and as you noticed here, there are duals here. There's one on this side and one on this side. This one is steering, this one is throttle, and that's a totally different animal altogether. Check this out. All right, so here is the left side, and that is the throttle. And it has the same principle. You give it some trigger and you watch the tires grow. We're running 2S on this, but see how the tires grow up? That's at full throttle. Now, you back down this. We're still at full throttle, but now it's running at much lower speeds. See how that works? So not only does it give you the ability to limit your speed, but it also changes your braking. So it takes it down evenly. Less speed, less brakes. Turn it all the way up, watch this, full power, and the brakes have a lot more bite to them now. That's the advantage and disadvantage of using it on the throttle side. That being said, with the throttle side, there are two things. Keep in mind that it does do it evenly on most of the RTRs because it's just basically a rate that you can turn up and down, which gives you the amount of throw you're allowed. With the speed control, it's the same thing. As the throw decreases, you get less throttle to the car. However, it decreases on both sides. So as it stands up, and this is total throw between what is allowed, as you stand it up and it starts to go away, you lose brakes too. So as you narrow this down, you get less brakes, you get less throttle, it's more controllable. On this particular radio, and a lot of these Spectrums have this, this is a cut down switch. And what this does is this turns it down to 50%, 75%, or 100% throttle. On this particular radio, that's unnecessary because with the dual rate, you can turn it down with just the knob. This is unnecessary. Now, the thing about that is, if let's say you're running this thing at the track and you come into a corner and you always get out of pocket in the corner, if you can't control the corners, you're not fast. So you need to get down to a controllable level. So start bringing your dual rate down until you can get around that corner. Once you get that down, and you might only have to bring it down a little bit, you might have to bring it down quite a bit. The thing is, if somebody is ripping down the backstretch but they can't make a corner, you're going to beat them because you can make the corner. So the trick is to balance. One, if you have a slipper clutch, balance the slipper clutch for the conditions. There we have another video, Slipper Clutch 101. That's in the 101 playlist, and we'll have that link right up here so that you can check that video out, which will help you get traction where needed. This is the other way to do it, and they work in concert. If you bring your dual rate down a little bit, so dial it in for the conditions. So when you come into a corner, this will allow you to pull more trigger. So if you have a tendency to get trigger happy, and believe me, it happens to all of us, you get a little trigger happy, you get out of pocket because the adrenaline's pumping, you want that first place spot, you're chasing the guy down the backstretch and you come in a little bit hot. Take a little steam out of the car here with the dual rate, control that speed, drive clean, and that gives you the best advantage possible. So hey guys, if you haven't already, don't forget to bash that like button and help our content spread. You know, the 101 playlist is something that we really enjoy working on. It helps the new people understand what they're getting into, and that's really what drives the channel. Yes, the action is cool, the builds are awesome, we enjoy doing all of that stuff, but we built this channel to help. Initially, when I put this channel together with my friends, I put this channel together so they could watch videos on how to fix their cars. It got really good response from the community, and this turned into a thing, and that's really cool. I love the way that this has adapted itself into our society of the hobby, and we love the ability to help others. If you guys have any comments you'd like to add as far as dual rates go, please feel free to leave it in the comments down below and help others along the way. Hey guys, I'm AJ with AJ Jam Studio saying, keep doing whatever, but have a blast doing it.